These are the best controller settings for the BO6 beta. Let's get right into it. Head over to your controller settings, and the first setting you'll see is the button layout. You can see I'm playing default flipped because I like default. I have some buttons on the back of my controller, so it's really useful. Flipped is just really nice. I enjoy using it. But I would really recommend playing something like tactical. Tactical is a really good way to set up your button layout, and also bumper jumper tactical flipped. Look into those, try them out. If you don't have any buttons on the back of your controller, they really help out. In terms of our stick sensitivity, we want to have something between 6.6 and 10.10. That is going to give you the most consistent aim, especially in a game like this. Test out what works best for you, but 99% of pros are going to be within this range, so that means you want to stay within it also. Turn off these simplified controls. We don't need them. Low motion strain, we don't need. Bumper ping could be useful if that's something you're interested in. I have my bumper swapped, which is why this is on. Under this section, turn controller vibration and trigger effect off, and then go to show more under dead zone inputs. Left and right stick min for me are both 0 because I don't have a lot of stick drift when I do have it at 0, but some people may have a lot of stick drift on their controller, so you'll need to raise this up to about 5. I wouldn't recommend going too high here because that means you have to move the stick a lot more until it actually activates and starts taking your input. Important note is my left stick max is actually at 40, and I recommend lowering this down from the default values because that means you need to move your left stick less to be able to hit the full length of action in your movement. That means your character will move as fast as possible in the direction you want to go quicker. Right stick max should be at 100, that way we have as much control over our aim as possible. Left and right trigger I recommend getting as low as possible. I really like 0. Moving on to the aiming tab, go ahead and click show more under sensitivity multiplier. This part is really important. For ADS sensitivity multiplier, anywhere from 0.70 to 1 is really good depending on what sensitivity you're at. You're just gonna have to test this out, try it out, and see what works best for you. Then you want to move down to aiming advanced settings. Go ahead into here and make sure to change this to dynamic. We don't have to click show more. This is the main things we need to change in this aiming tab. We can go ahead over to movement. In the movement tab, we have a lot of changes we need to make. For sprint assist, we want to make sure it's on tactical sprint assist. Go ahead and click show more and turn our sprint assist delay all the way down to 0. This setting is going to help your movement feel a lot cleaner. Mantle assist and crouch assist I recommend turning off. Airborne mantle I recommend turning off because we want to be able to choose what our character is doing, so we have more control over what's actually happening when we're playing the game. Slide / dive behavior is a big topic that a lot of people are talking about. Hybrid is by far the best option here. Some people are only using tap to slide, some people are using slide only. Honestly, this is a little bit of preference, but I highly recommend using hybrid and getting used to it. It will take a little bit, but it's 100% worth it. In our movement advanced settings, we don't actually need to change anything here, but one thing I would recommend is making sure we have ground mantle off, and a lot of these extra settings should look similar to what I have here. Now let's head over to the combat tab, and yours should look pretty similar to this. I think the only thing you'll actually need to change here is for a quick C4 detonation, you want to move this to 1 by 1. That way when you throw out a C4, you can blow it up right away instead of having to throw both until you can actually make it explode. Under combat advanced settings, we want to 100% go into here and look through some of these. A lot of these you might not need to change. Interact / reload behavior, a lot of people are used to using prioritize interact, especially for Warzone, but when it comes to multiplayer, we want to be on tap to reload. That way we're not picking up guns by accident. Now we're done with the controller settings. Let's head over to the graphics settings and go under the view section. Motion reduction should be set to off. Our field of view should be anywhere from 100 to 120 for multiplayer. I recommend something a little less than 120. 120 is really big on multiplayer, and most of the pros definitely don't use that. Our ADS field of view should be set to affected, and our field of view for weapon and vehicle should both be set to wide. World motion blur and all these extra things should be turned off. Now let's head over to the interface section and make sure to go to the gameplay HUD. You'll see the first setting here is HUD presets. You can choose a few different options here. I'm sticking to standard. I think classic is pretty good, but you can kind of choose what you'd like. Now we have another tab inside of this customize HUD where you can kind of change these colors. I mostly leave mine as default. The main thing we want to focus on in this tab is the color filter settings down at the bottom. We want to change our color filter to 2, our color filter target to both. World color intensity is set to 100. This is going to really help the color and the look of our game, and that's going to help you distinguish more between the background and actual players. Now we want to move down to minimap shape. We want to make sure this is set to square, but I have had a lot of issues of it reverting and going back to circle by itself, so this is probably just a bug that will be fixed sometime soon, but this is definitely something we want to have set to square because we can actually see more of the mini map when it's set to square rather than circle. Those are the best settings for the Black Ops 6 beta. Make sure to change those. It might feel a little weird at first, but it's going to make a huge difference down the line once you start getting used to a lot of these movements. I hope this helped you out, and have a great rest of your day.